Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Bears. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the Water Juice channel, and welcome back to the continuation of our post-NFL draft rebuilds. Right now, we have done 3 teams so far. The first 3 picks in the 2024 NFL draft. The Chicago Bears at number 1, who took Caleb Williams. We rebuilt them. We got them a championship. Number 2 overall pick, the Washington Commanders. They took Jaden Daniels. We rebuilt them. We got them a championship. The number 3 overall pick, my New England Patriots, they took Drake May, we rebuilt them, we got them a championship. Now we move to the next team that took a quarterback in the first round, and it might be the craziest draft pick that I've seen in my time watching the NFL draft. The Atlanta Falcons, I still can't believe this is actually true. The Atlanta Falcons with the 8th overall pick in the NFL draft. Maybe people thought they were going to take an offensive lineman. Maybe people thought they were going to take a corner or a defensive lineman or a defensive linebacker or a wide receiver. Whatever. This was the last thing people were thinking, except for some of the scoopers, the reporters like Adam Schefter, who floated this idea 10 seconds before the pick came in. The Atlanta Falcons with the number 8 overall pick drafted extended Penix, Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington, quarterback, with the 8th overall pick, to the chagrin of all of Atlanta. The entire fan base did not like this pick. The entire NFL fan base did not like this pick. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was confused. Nobody understood it. And yet they did. And the reason people, if you're not aware, the reason people are shocked by this, not because Michael Penix is a bad player or he's going to be a bust. He is a little bit on the older side of things, to be fair. He does have a big history of injury with his knees and his arm and everything. So he's got those problems, but a lot of people have those kind of problems. The big reason why everybody was shocked and stunned and awed by this is because a month or 2 earlier, they signed Kirk Cousins to a massive free agent deal. A massive deal. Now, Kirk Cousins isn't the greatest quarterback of all time, but he's a very serviceable quarterback that can win you a few games, especially with the talent that this Atlanta team does have on offense. Kirk Cousins can get you into the playoffs with this team. And they gave him money that reflected that. And yet they go and they get their replacement, their future replacement, and this man is like my age. Michael Penix, I think, is either about to be 24 or he's already turned 24. So it's just a wild scenario that they would even consider drafting Michael Penix in the first round. I could have seen Michael Penix get drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the 2nd round or the 3rd round. I don't think he would have got taken in the 1st round if it wasn't for Atlanta. I don't think Denver would have taken him. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings would have taken him. I don't think any other team would have grabbed him in the 1st round, at least. So they would have played a little risky in the 2nd round. Maybe he goes early 2nd round, who knows? But then you could just trade up if you feel like somebody's going to grab him. But they went top 10 and took Michael Penix. So here we are. It is the 4th team that we are rebuilding today. Not today. The 4th team that we are rebuilding in this post-draft era. We've rebuilt the top 3 teams. Now it's time to rebuild the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully we shouldn't have to do too much with this Atlanta Falcons team because they should already be playoff contenders. I say kind of leery, kind of worrying, but I think they do have the talent to be a playoff team, especially in this bad NFC South division with like the bad Panthers, but maybe they'll take a step up. Then you got the Saints, who knows what's going to happen with the Saints. They're always up and down weird. And then you got obviously Tampa and Baker. Who knows what Baker's going to be? Is he going to be the same quarterback he was last year, or is he going to fall back down to what Baker usually is? Who knows? So it's a weird division. It's a bad division, at least on paper. And the Atlanta Falcons are right there for the taking for the division and for a big-time home playoff game. So if Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix or whoever is the starting quarterback for the team going forward, if they can just play half as good as they need to, this team can go pretty far in their season. So we're going to be rebuilding the Atlanta Falcons today. I hope you guys go and enjoy the video. If you do, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's go rebuild the Atlanta Falcons. Now, since this video is about rebuilding the Falcons with Michael Penix Jr., I don't think that I want to have him sit behind Kirk Cousins. Now, I know that the Kirk Cousins is probably going to start for the season unless he's playing god-awful. So he's obviously going to start the season. He's probably going to even start next year as well. But for the sake of this video, I think we're going to trade Kirk Cousins. Now, I know he's not going to get traded in real life. You don't have to tell me. I understand. I don't do realism. That's not what I do on the channel. So we're probably going to trade Kirk Cousins here to get everything started, just so we can go right away into Michael Penix era. Now, he doesn't have star development here because I've mentioned before, I don't think that in Madden 25, the new game that comes out in August, I don't think that any other quarterback will have a development trait except for the top three. I think, I've said this before, I think Caleb Williams has superstar, and then Drake May and Jaden Daniels both have star, and I think the rest of the quarterbacks will have normal in the new game. So I've left Michael Penix with normal development. Now, you may be wondering, Juice, why does Bijan Robinson have hidden development? Why is he still a rookie technically? Why does Matthew Bergeron have hidden development? It's because the rosters nowadays after the draft are all combined with the previous rookies and now this year's rookies, all meshed together. You can't have it both ways. You can't be perfect until we get to the new game, so you just have to live with it. I do want to point out that I am running a new roster. A lot of you guys have been commenting, asking where certain players are, and I've been responding saying, I don't know, I didn't make the roster, I just downloaded it. I didn't have a say in who's here and who's not here. Some of them are some of the rosters are a little bit unfinished, but I did download a new roster that said it was pretty much completely done with all the different signings, all the different draft picks coming in from each round. So I think this roster should be a little bit more complete. I hope, at least. If you guys see anybody that's not on the team that should be, let me know. But I think that this roster should be pretty much complete, up to date. But again, I didn't make the roster. I downloaded it from somebody on the community share. So if you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at the person that I downloaded it from. I apologize. I don't know their name, but be mad at them. Don't be mad at me. So let's start this rebuild by going over the team. We have Jake Matthews, we have Matthew Bergeron, we have Chris Lindstrom, and we have Caleb McGarry. This offensive line is pretty much set. Like, we don't really need to fix this offensive line at all. We do have, is this Drew Dahlman? Is that his name? Yeah, Drew Dahlman. We do have Drew Dahlman, who's an 80 overall. He's a solid center. We could definitely upgrade that in terms of, not really overall, he's a fine overall at an 80, but he doesn't have a development trait, which is pretty brutal in Madden to have an offensive lineman who doesn't have a development trait. Luckily, Caleb McGarry already is an 85 overall, so it shouldn't hurt him as much. And Jake Matthews, is he in his 30s yet? He is. He's 31. So we'll have to keep an eye on Jake Matthews. But the really only position that we could need to upgrade at center, or on this offensive line, is at center. Kyle Pitts, good to go for the entire rebuild. Darnell Mooney, probably good to go for the entire rebuild. Same deal with Drake London. Obviously, Bijan's here to stay. Michael Penix will be the starter. And then on defense, there's a little bit more work to be done on the defense. I like Richie Grant. I like Jesse Bates, but Jesse Bates is a little bit older. I think he's in his 30s now. Oh, no. Oh, what was I thinking? He's 26. Oh, my God. I apologize. I thought he was a lot older than that. That's my bad. Jesse Bates is good to go now for the entire rebuild. AJ Terrell's good to go. Grady Jarrett is probably good to go, but if there's anybody with a high overall that I would consider trading, Grady Jarrett's probably that guy. We'll have to see. We'll have to play it by ear, see who we draft, see what kind of happens in the upcoming seasons. But Grady Jarrett for right now is good to go, but he's not necessarily safe. Arnold Ebiketie cool. Anyamata's fine for now. Braylon Trice, we'll see how he develops. Maybe he has a good rookie year. He gets star development. That could be helpful. Corners, we probably need to add at least one or two corners. I like Hughes. I like Alford. I like Phillips, but none of them have development traits, and they're all under an 80. So, I mean, again, we'll have to see where they develop, but right now I'm leaning towards upgrading the cornerback position. Same with inside linebacker, Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis. They're fine, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. I did load in a draft class. It's not a real draft class. It is just a auto-generated draft class. We can go and see. Ooh, there's a top corner. Vaughn Favors. I like the name. Vaughn Favors, 5'10" at LSU. We don't know anything about him just yet because I just loaded in the draft class. But I like that there's a top corner in the class. There's also Joe Bowens, from Auburn. Pass rusher. Okay, so this could be a nice... Ooh, this is a really big tackle class. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Very interesting. But we do need to trade Kirk Cousins to start the video. And I also want to say our draft picks are the draft picks that were in this season. So we have the number 8 overall pick, which is eventually what they used to take Michael Penix. Obviously, because we're still in 2023 technically, you can't... You get it. So we still have the number 8 overall pick, or we still have our first round pick that we used to take Michael Penix with. Kirk Cousins is on the board. He also has a massive cap hit, so this is going to be nice. And because the game doesn't know that he's... Hold on. Does the game know that he's added to the team? So what's his contract status look like? His cap hit is $20.3 million. Total salary is $15.5. He's only got 1 year left. So this is the Kirk Cousins that was on Minnesota with only 1 year left. So we would have to give him a contract extension like they gave him the actual contract in real life to sign him here. But we're not going to do that, obviously, because this is about Michael Penix. So we need to trade Kirk Cousins, and we can capitalize on some crazy value here. We could get DeAndre Swift. We don't need DeAndre Swift because we have Bijan, but that's kind of crazy. Cortland Sutton would be a nice third receiver. Greg Newsome is cool. James Conner, Michael Pittman, Duron. Man, Kirk Cousins has some crazy value. What about, hold on, what about if I throw in that first overall pick too? It's ranked, or it's valued at number 8 overall. Okay, now we can get a little crazy here. Now we can get a little crazy. I'm not going to trade this first round pick. I just kind of wanted to see where the value was at. So we're just going to back off on that. But I am going to trade Kirk Cousins to hopefully a team that is giving me decent stuff. The Jaguars are giving me their first overall pick next year. Or their first round pick next year. The Jaguars could be bad. Unfortunately, the Jaguars don't need a quarterback because they have Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones. So that's kind of stupid. But, I mean, they're giving me a first round pick. How could I pass that up? Jack Jones, I don't want. Trevor Penning, I don't want. It's a lot of running backs. I don't need a running back. We got Bijan. I like the Greg Newsome offer. That's a really interesting one. Greg Newsome's 85 at 23 years old. That is a nice 1-2 punch with A.J. Terrell. But then getting Michael Pittman's also fantastic. That would be a nice one with Drake London and Darnell Mooney, money with 2 O's. But then the Jaguars are right here giving me a first-round pick just right in my face. How could I... I'm not going to do any of these trades back here. Oh, there's a lot of different options. I could take Deron Payne, and then we could have Daniel Anamata just be a backup. There's a lot of interesting options here. What do I go with? Do I go with Michael Pittman and give Michael Penix the best options possible? Because he's got Kyle Pitts, he's got Bijan Robinson, and then adding in, he's already got Drake London, then he's got Darnell Mooney, and then adding in Michael Pittman. That's a really good wide receiver core and a really good offense in general. And we also get a third-round pick in 2025. I might do this trade with the Colts. Unfortunately, the Colts have Anthony Richardson. That would kind of be stupid. But I'm trying to get I'm trying to get the best value. The Browns have Deshaun Watson, which would make sense to trade Kirk Cousins there because who knows what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, even though his contract is kind of stupid. Broncos just took Bo Nix. None of these teams really need a quarterback, except for maybe the Giants. None of these teams really are in the market for a quarterback. Maybe the Raiders, but they're not giving me what I need. And the Saints aren't giving me what I need either. If they were giving me a first-round pick and Trevor Penning, then I would consider it, but... I'm either going to do the Browns trade or the Colts trade. I think I've narrowed it down to that. Do I want a stud number 2 corner and then a couple of draft picks after that? A draft pick this year, a second-round pick this year, or a third-round pick a couple of years from now, but a stud receiver? I'm going to do the Colts trade. You know what? Kirk Cousins is only there for a season. He can go there, mentor Anthony Richardson for a season, and then he can go in free agency and sign somewhere else. It's not my problem. I get a stud wide receiver out of the deal, Michael Pittman, who now becomes the number 1 receiver, then Drake London, then Darnell Mooney, and Rondale Moore. I like my receiving core. We're looking pretty sexy. And Michael Penix now gets to be the starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. So congratulations to him. We should probably take a little peek at Michael Penix's stats, his attributes here. 23 years old, rookie out of Washington. Do they have him as a lefty? I think they should. I guess we'll find out if we ever jump into a game. 96 throw power. He's got a decent arm. His accuracies are not great. I will say that. His accuracies aren't great. And he does have the injury history, but injuries aren't on in this, so it doesn't matter. But he does. Why does he have 89 injury? He should have like 70 injury. He's got a good deep ball. He's got really no awareness at all. He can move around slightly. He's a decent prospect. I'm not saying he's going to be an absolute bust in the NFL. I'm a little bit worried because of his age combined with his injury history. It's a little concerning. But he's our guy. He is our guy for this first season and for the entire rebuild. So let's get to the end of season 1. We'll figure out how good Michael Penix's rookie season is. We are going to stay with Falcons playbooks because every time I simulate, the Atlanta Falcons are always pretty good. So we'll see if the Falcons playbooks are actually legit or do we have to move to a different playbook later on down the line. We'll find out. I'll catch you guys at the end of year number 1. We wrap up year number 1 of the Michael Penix era here in Atlanta. We won 7 games. 7-10, not necessarily a good thing, but also not necessarily a bad thing either. Kind of middle of the road, which isn't really where you want to be generally in the NFL. But it's the first year of Penix. We'll see how he develops, especially in this Atlanta playbook. Like I said, if we need to adjust it, we certainly can. Michael Penix's first season, 3,300 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. If he puts up these numbers in his rookie season or whenever he gets the chance to start, I think Atlanta fans would probably be pretty happy about that, pretty excited about that. Those are pretty decent numbers. Bijan obviously killed it because he's Bijan. 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns. No 1,000-yard receiver, but Kyle Pitts got pretty close. 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Piet had 830 and 7. Drake London had a decent season as well. Defensively, 107 tackles from Troy Anderson. I would love it if Troy Anderson went up to superstar development. That'd be fantastic. Easier for me. AJ Terrell, 92. 90 for Ellis. 73 for Richie Grant. Tackle for loss leader was Grady Jarrett with 14. 12 for Carter. 11 for Onyemata. Sack leader was Braylon Trice, the rookie. 6. Okay. 5 for Grady Jarrett. 4 for Ebiketie. And then you got 2 interceptions on the season. So it looks like the Atlanta playbook on defense is not that great for interceptions. That's okay. We can adjust. But obviously, we didn't make the playoffs. The Panthers actually did better than us, which is kind of crazy to say. I did see that the Chicago Bears went 0-17 in this first season. I was looking at the standings before I cut back to the video just to kind of see where we stood. And I did see that the Bears went 0-17. So they didn't win a single game this year. That's kind of crazy, even though we just rebuilt them a couple of weeks ago. So it's who was that? The 49ers and the Jets I see in the Super Bowl? That's kind of wild. And it is the Jets taking home a championship. Okay. Kind of wild, but I'm here for it. Aaron Rodgers. Ayahuasca championship. Let's go. Rodgers is the MVP. Joe Burrow wins MVP of the league. Nick Sirianni wins the Coach of the Year. Rashee Rice and Max Crosby are the offensive defense players of the year. And he also Rice wins the offensive rookie of the year. He just sped right through those awards. That's crazy. Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the Washington Commander defensive lineman, former Ohio State Buckeye, transferred to Notre Dame, gets drafted by the Commanders and wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. You love to see it. I was a big Javonte Jean-Baptiste guy at Ohio State, but then he transferred away. He wasn't getting a lot of playing time, and he played at Notre Dame. All right, let's go to the re-sign period. I did check to see who would need a new contract, and I saved them for this moment so that I can do this with you guys instead of just signing them during the simulation. We have $36 million in available budget. We will accept the option on Kyle Pitts, even though we should probably just sign him now, so it's probably cheaper, but it's already done. So Michael Pittman, Darnell Mooney both need new contracts. Obviously, we're going to extend Michael Pittman Jr. because we just made a big trade for him to bring him in anyway, so we got to bring him back. Unfortunately, he doesn't really want to be here, but that's all okay when you give people money. They like you a lot more when you give them money. So a 5-year deal, that'll take us hopefully through the entirety of the video. $12 million on each. He accepts. That leaves us with $15 million to bring back Darnell Mooney, and that is basically the only other guy that we need to bring back. I think we can do it. We'll give Darnell Mooney a 4-year contract, and we'll basically give him all of our remaining cap. We'll give him $8 million, and then we'll give him probably $7 million, and he will accept that too. So we have $2.1 million. We don't need to bring anybody else back, and unfortunately, we can't do anything in free agency now because our 2 receivers cost way too much money now. But it was crucial for the development of Michael Penix to be able to bring those guys back. So free agency, it's pretty much nobody that I want. I would love to get Willie Gay. I definitely would have went after him if I had the money. Excuse me. I definitely would have went after him if I would have had the money, but we don't. And Kirk Cousins has one offer. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Kirk Cousins. He played this season, obviously, in Indianapolis. We can check the standings, see how he did in Indianapolis. The Colts made the playoffs at 10-7. Okay. They got bumped at some point, but they did make the playoffs, so good for Kirk Cousins. We'll keep an eye on the free agent period, see where Kirk Cousins ends up signing. It's probably only going to be for like a 1 or 2 year deal, I would assume, since he is above, 35 now? I think he's like 36 or 37 at this point, so he is getting up there in age. We'll see where he signs. Did he sign right off the first bat? He is now a Tennessee Titan for a season, so he's going to be going to mentor Will Levis now. Okay. He's probably actually going to be starting over Will Levis because I don't think, unless Will Levis developed a higher overall than an 83, he's probably going to be starting over him. If we go to the Titans, quarterback, yeah, Will Levis is only 76, so Kirk Cousins will start over the top of Will Levis for this next season and probably try to mentor him, make him as good of a player as he can be. Interesting situation in Tennessee, but hey, it's not our job to rebuild every team in the NFL. It's just the team that we're focused on right here with Michael Penix. I didn't even see if Michael Penix got star development. I don't think he would have, but I hope he did. That'd be really nice if he did. And we go to the adjust the lineup. Any development trade upgrades? No. Bijan superstar, though. That's pretty cool. No on the offense. Unfortunately, no for Michael Penix. Kyle Pitts is already X Factor. And no differences on the defense as well. Just basically the same. Kind of upsetting, but sometimes that happens. And now we get to private workouts. There is a corner in here. We talked about him. Yes, right here. Von Favors looks generational. He doesn't have the speed that would make you think he's generational. But, I mean, look at these. A catching, A press, A man coverage, A tackling, A zone coverage, and A awareness. He's got everything you want, and we don't even know if he's got A block shed or A hit power. We're going to find out now because I'm going to use my thing on him. But that man looks like a freak of nature. He looks so good. And I think I'm going to try to trade up for him no matter what it takes. I did use offensive tackle as my scouting, so that's why we have our tackles at 95%. And I think I'm going to scout Sal Baker, and we're going to scout probably a center because we could use to replace one. Maybe Dave Jones. Davy Jones? Or James Blades. Those are two pretty decent names. I'm going to go James Blades first. Von Favors, baby. Von Favors could be the real deal Shaquille O'Neal. Let's go to the staff tree so that we can purchase all the needed upgrades to be able to trade our draft picks 1-for-1 to get our boy Von Favors. Because he's probably going to be projected #1 overall pick, I would assume. That would make the most sense. All right, so we can only we can't afford this last one, but we should be able to pay all the good stuff now to get up and get him 1-for-1. But I need to see this mock draft number 5. Oh, he's not. This is huge. Von Favors is not even top 5. This makes it so much easier. Von Favors is number 7. Oh my God, that's a steal. Absolute steal. We pick a number 10. Oh my God, we can get this dude easy. Von Favors is generational. If he was like 6'2", he'd be the greatest corner of all time. This is easy. Light work. We're going to trade up with the New Orleans Saints, and I know it's a division rival, but I don't freaking care, big dog. I'm taking Von Favors. This dude's freaking-rational. We're going. Saints, number 7. We probably don't have to give up that much. It's almost ready to go. Let's go, baby. Number 7 overall, or a 7th overall pick. 7th round pick, I mean, in 2026. And then a 7th round pick in 2025. Almost. We're getting there. I have 2 7th round picks I saw. So we'll give that one in 2025. Boom! Look at that. So we trade from number 10 to number 7 with a couple extra 7th round picks. We're taking freaking Von Favors. This dude looks unbelievable. If he's not an 80 plus, I'm going to be devastated. Let's get to the draft and make sure we get our guy. Let's make sure we get our guy. So we start drafting right here, right now. Bears went winless on the season. They have the #1 overall pick. and they get their quarterback. Even though they do have Caleb Williams, trust me, they have Caleb Williams. I didn't make the decision. Hunter Goldsberry from UCF, not USC, UCF, is now the Bears' starting quarterback. Maybe it's an Arizona Cardinals situation. They took Josh Rosen, then the very next year they take Kyler Murray. Who knows? Joe Bowens goes to the Giants at 2. The Washington Commanders, I didn't mean to press that button. Oh, he is top 5. Oh my God, he looks great. He looks fantastic. He just looks so good. Commanders take Cordell Dunn at 3. The Cardinals will grab Philip Holsey. Then at 5, the Texans take Sal Baker. And the Raiders will take Victor Robinson. We are now up, and we're probably getting the best player in the class. This man looks unbelievable. If he was just slightly faster and slightly taller, he'd be so good. What a stud. 91 speed, 95 acceleration, 86 agility. Now I'm happy we didn't trade with the Browns and got Greg Newsome, because we just basically got our guy right here. Von Favors looks like a freak. He might be one of the best drafted players I've ever taken. He looks that good. Now, I don't know what his overall is or how he's going to end up in this rebuild, but right off the bat, just base, hidden development, the way he looks in the draft, looks like one of the best players I've ever taken in an auto-generated draft. So that's a promising sign. Now, I did see that the centers got off the board, so that's a little bit upsetting. I was hoping they would make it to round 2, but they don't. AJ Price is still here, though. 6'7" right tackle, moves decently well, blocks pretty well. I'm going to keep him in mind. He looks pretty good. He might be our go-to pick here in the second round. Is there anybody that would make me think differently? I don't think so. Not at least on defense. Definitely not a running back. Not a wide receiver. I mean, there's a couple decent tight ends right here, but we have Kyle Pitts, so why would we do that? At least in the second round. I'm going to take AJ Price. Hopefully he's a hit. And he is hidden development, 84 strength, looks like a very solid player. 6'7" is massive. He could take over for Jake Matthews in the future if Jake starts to regress. So that's a big, solid pickup here. We go to the third round. What do we got in the third round? We got a couple wide receivers, another corner. We don't really need another corner. Maybe we do. Who's this guy? Shane Quinn, 6'2" out of Florida State. I love the elite speed. You know I love elite speed on my linebackers. I'm taking him. Nolan Deval. I always get caught by the trap. But I can't be mad at 86 speed, 91 excel for a dude that is going to be a backup. I can't be mad at that. That's very solid. I always fall into the trap of elite acceleration, elite agility, or elite speed. It's a tradition. It is an absolute tradition. Okay. So we've got an outside linebacker, we've got a corner, and we got a right tackle. The only other position that I can need is a center. And I don't think I'm going to find a starting center in day 3. Nathan Worthy, are you worthy of getting drafted? You don't look too bad. You don't look great, but you don't look too bad. And then Dylan Rubin. Oh, you look worse than the other dude. So I'm going to take Nathan Worthy, and we're going to end the draft there. They can't all be hits. They can't all be mitts, but I'm happy. I'm happy with how we drafted. Getting Von Favors is unbelievable, and then hitting on that right tackle as well. So the first 2 picks, we dominated, and I would not be shocked to see Von Favors be the number 1 player in this class. If we go here and he's the number 1 player, I'm going to be absolutely excited, and he is 82 overall. I knew he's just so good, man. He's just so good, and the fact that we got him in number 7 is crazy. AJ Price ends up being a 72. Everybody else is kind of low overall. That's fine. Is he the best player in the class, or was this class stacked? It was not. He was the best player by far. Oh, my God. The next best player was Donnell Allen in the second round, and then a third-round receiver. Oh, my God. The number 1 overall pick is rated at an overall. Where is he at? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The number 1 overall pick. The number 2 overall pick is a 73. Where is the number 1 overall pick? Did they draft a bust? A 70 overall quarterback? Oh my, does he have a development trait? He does. If this is anything lower than superstar, I feel like they missed out on a huge. It's only star. The Bears just took somebody that could be a bust. Oh my God. A 70 overall? And the number 1 pick? when you have Caleb Williams? Questionable decision by the winless Chicago Bears. Maybe that's why you were winless. You could have drafted Von Favors and built the defense. But we got him, and I'm super excited to have him on the squad. We get another year of Michael Penix. He's a 79 overall now. Dahlman's moved up to an 81, so that's nice to see. At least he's progression a little bit. And then on defense, Von Favors instantly number 2 corner. We just need to work on the linebackers a little bit more. Maybe they're good enough to win a championship. Who knows? It all depends on how good Michael Penix plays. If he starts to win games, starts to play good, and we start to win games, I won't care about adding different pieces to the team because we'll be winning a Super Bowl. So I'm going to simulate to the end of year number 2 and see how Michael Penix does in his second season. Year 2 is in the books, and we improved a lot. 12-5 instead of 7-10 is a lot better record. We end up winning the division. We don't get the number 1 seed, obviously, but we are a playoff team with extended Penix. I love to see it. Let's take a look at these stats. How did he improve this season? He had a few more interceptions, but 3,400 yards, grew up like 100 more yards or something, 24 touchdowns. We did fine, and Michael Penix had a decent second season. Bijan is why we won our games. 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, along with 12 from Tyler Algier. That's why we won our games. Michael Penix who? We don't need Michael Penix when you got Bijan freaking Robinson. 955 for Drake London with 6 touchdowns, so no 1,000-yard receivers still. Maybe we are going to have to change to like Kansas City or Cincinnati or Buffalo or something to get a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't know. Pittman with 700 yards. Pitts with 700 yards. Pitts? Very good season from all those guys. Defensively, Caden Ellis again with 111 tackles. Anderson at 93. Favors the rookie, 84. If he doesn't have X Factor, I'm going to be very disappointed. If he has star, I'm going to be very disappointed. There's no way. He has to have at least superstar. 77 from Ebiketie, 76 from Terrell. And then he got 16 tackles for loss of Grady Jarrett, 12 for Lorenzo Carter, 12 for Onyemata. Sack leader was Onyemata with 8, and Ebiketie also had 8. 6 for Grady Jarrett, 6 for Lorenzo Carter. Interception leader was Richie Grant with 3, then Anderson had 2, Ellis had 2, Bates had 2, a couple guys had 1, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe the Falcons playbook can get you a lot of interceptions because it did there. Maybe that first season was just a little bit of a fluke, who knows. But now it's time for the playoffs. J.J. McCarthy in his second season versus Michael Penix in his second season. Who's going to get the job done in the wild card round of the playoffs? It's us, 24-6. That makes sense. J.J. McCarthy's the quarterback. They don't score a lot of points on offense. That makes a lot of sense. Big W's. Now we take on division rival Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can we get it done to go to the NFC title game? That would be awesome. No, Tampa Bay beats us. That's too bad. But we're still only in year number 2. We still have a couple more years at least to grow this team. So that's a good start, though. Year number 2, we're already making the playoffs and already going and winning a game. I like that a lot. But now it's time. Ravens and Cowboys in the Super Bowl. That first one was super weird. The Jets in the Super Bowl? I've never seen that before. But now we're back to something more familiar, and it's the Cowboys beating the Jets. Nope, beating the Ravens 24-17. And we're into the second offseason. All right, let's get this done. Season recap. Dak is the MVP of the Super Bowl, so we know it's a video game. Patrick Mahomes wins MVP of the league. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. Lamar Jackson, Offensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen, Defensive Josh Allen. Athletic Josh Allen wins Defensive Player of the Year. Darrell Davis, wide receiver for the Browns, wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then that guy, Donnell Allen, who we took a look at, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Giants. He's the safety. So, funny enough. All right, let's take a look at our team. Development trade upgrade. Show me some stars. Darn it. Penix stays at star development. If we go up to Kansas City, there's absolutely no chance he doesn't go up. So we've got Bijan dominating. Wide receivers looking good. Offensive line looks good. Braylon Trice and Lorenzo Carter both up to star development. And Von Favors has star. No. How is that possible? He's a freak. How does he have star development? Oh my God. I thought for sure he'd have X Factor. Oh my God. I thought for sure it was a guarantee. I would have bet my child that I don't have. I would have bet them that I had an X Factor corner. I can't believe that. That's outrageous. Oh my God. Only star development? Why do you do this to me, Madden? Braylon Trice does go up to star, which is beautiful. Looks like we don't need to work on the defensive line anymore, unless we want to get maybe a replacement for Onyemata, maybe. Lorenzo Carter having star now is really nice, too. I think it's going to be time. I think we're going to change the scheme. We're going to change everything. We're going to go to Kansas City. We're not messing around anymore. We're trying to win football games. And the only way you win football games, watching the NFL, I learned this. The only way you win football games is by playing the Kansas City playbook. So that's what we're going to do. Because they win a bunch of football games. So that's what we're going to run. Michael Penix is going to become he's going to become Patrick Mahomes. Kyle Pitts is going to skyrocket to a 90 within the first few weeks. But Michael Penix is going to take off. He's going to be superstar by the end of this video. I know it. I absolutely know it. But with that all done, it's time to get to the renegotiation period. Let's talk to some players who want more money. They want some more money. Do I have the money to pay them? We will find out. We got $30 million. AJ Terrell wants a contract. Drake London wants a contract. No, he doesn't. He just wants exception option. Perfect. Richie Grant wants a contract. Drew Dahlman wants a contract. Rondell Moore, Mike Hughes. There's some guys that need contracts that I'd like to bring back. So we will get Lorenzo Carter back because he's pretty cheap. Is there anybody else that's kind of cheap that I want to bring back? Nope. Okay, so I want to bring back Rondell Moore, Mike Hughes, Drew Dahlman, Richie. I want to bring back everybody from, like, Mike Hughes forward. So we need to restructure some contracts. I'm not going to go crazy like I normally do because I don't want to be in the negative that much later on down the line. But if I can restructure some of these fat contracts, like I just paid Michael Pittman, so let's restructure his contract. That'll free up some good money. Chris Lindstrom's contract we can free up. Jake Matthews' contract we can free up. Jesse Bates' contract. Okay, so those will be the contracts we restructure. Some of the big money contracts that make it a little bit easier. That should give us enough money to bring everybody back, hopefully. $46 million, is that going to be enough? It's certainly enough to get AJ Terrell back. So let's give him a 5-year deal. He wants to be here, so we shouldn't have to grow too much more than this. He's going to come back. Perfect. $28 million. Got to get Drew Dahlman back. So we'll give him a 3-year deal. $6 million. He's going to come back. Perfect. $17 million. Got to get Rondell Moore back. 5.535. He's going to come back. And then Mike Hughes. Do I spend the money on Mike Hughes or I spend the money on Richie Grant? I think I spend the money on Richie Grant. So we're going to give him a 4-year deal, and we're going to give him basically all of our remaining cap to try to get him to re-sign. And he's going to come back perfect. So Mike Hughes, unfortunately, is going to have to be a casualty of the team, but that is okay. Although, can I trade Mike Hughes for another corner maybe? Maybe that's a nice little loophole. Mike Hughes, he doesn't have any trade packages, but maybe I can grab another corner. I can't get like one of these two guys. These two guys are too good, and they're too much on the cap. I need to get somebody that's good but not expensive on a cap hit. Who does that fit? Martin Emerson, that's what that fits. Can we get Martin Emerson? I know he's got 1 year left on his deal, so it might not be smart to get him, actually. We might need to hold off on Martin Emerson. He might be getting a new contract, so it might not be a good idea to get him. Sean Murphy Bunting's a little too expensive. McDuffel bag. Who do I want to get? Who do I want to get? All these guys are a little bit too expensive. Deonte Banks is interesting. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I like this a lot. I like this a whole lot. I can give you... Who else do I not need? I don't need D. Alford because he's also leaving on a trade, or on a contract. So Mike Hughes and D. Alford go to the Giants. We bring back Deonte Banks. That's an interesting deal. I like that a lot. Because if we go in here and generate the best lineup now, that adds a third corner that I like. So now we got Favors, we got Terrell, and we got Deonte Banks. Cornerbacks could be pretty much done for the rebuild. There's a good possibility. So let's get to the actual draft, because now that we don't have any money, we can't sign any free agents again. Actually, we have $40K. So we could offer somebody a nice little high five. Ooh, Trey Smith would be awesome to have, but don't have any money. It's a good offensive line class, but Trey Smith would be so good to have, but I can't free up any cap space anywhere. I want to keep all the guys that I have. So we will let him go to a different team, and we will go focus on the draft. It's another auto-generated draft. I don't know where we're going to be picking. We're probably going to be picking somewhere in the 20s because we made the playoffs. So we're probably not going to have that good of a pick. Hopefully there's somebody down the board in the first round that is sexy enough to come to Atlanta. We'll have to find out. And now with Kansas City's playbook, I'm assuming that we're just going to take off and win a bunch of games. That's usually what happens, at least. Sometimes there's a rare thing where you don't win a bunch of games with Kansas City's playbook, but that's a very rare situation. Usually it works perfection. And I did see this. There is a free safety who is the #1 player in the class. This is ultra rare. He looks phenomenal in terms of his athletics. He's got elite speed, elite agility. He ran a 4.3 and a 4.25 at his pro day. He's got B hip. If he had A hip power, I'd be all in. He looks like a freak. But I don't think I've ever seen a free safety be the #1 player in the class. That is crazy to me. That's really crazy. He looks unreal. If I had a pick that was higher than whatever we have, what do we have? We have 27. If I had a pick higher than 27, I would certainly consider trading up for that man. He looks gross. We'll have to keep an eye on him and see how his career develops. Private workouts, who are we going to use these on? Obviously, I want to use one on Travis Lynch because I need to know how good he is. What's his true talent? But then after that, I saw there's a couple guards. Yeah, these two guards right here could be pretty interesting, especially this guy, Theo Green. We'll have to see a little bit more about him. And I want to know a little bit more about Austin Nowak. Nowak? I don't know how to say his name, but those are going to be my 3 private workouts. And hopefully we learn enough about all those guys. Let's get to the let's get to the actual draft so we can decide on who is going to be the new Atlanta Falcon. He's actually a top 5 pick. He looks gross. He's so good. I don't know how good he's actually going to end up being, but he does look really, really good. Tyrone Peterson's a top 5 pick at corner. Why do they have to be top 5 picks at corner? I'm not interested in another corner. Why does he have to be a top pick at corner? Oh. He's 6'3". He ran a 4.27 at his pro day. He looks really good. Why does he have to be top 5 at corner? Oh, do I have to trade up now? I might have to trade up to get him. I mean, I can't pass up on a top 5 corner. Pick 27. I think it was the Jets who had it, right? The Jets have 21. They have sauce. They don't need another corner. I'll give you a 4th round pick in 2027. How's that? Trade offer declined. I give you a player too, I guess. I have a lot of receivers, but I want all these receivers. I have... Who else do I have? Oh, mommy. I have this guy right here. You can have him. He's probably a draft pick from this past draft. I don't care. He's getting traded. And then you can also have... I mean, we don't need Clark Phillips if we're going to get this guy, do we? We probably don't need Clark Phillips. So Clark Phillips can go away too. And we get the 21st pick in the draft to take that corner. I had to. I had to. #1 pick in the draft, the Raiders take Travis Lynch, the safety. He's probably going to be pretty gross. Brian Archer, Tyreek Terrell. That's a weird name. Tyquan Sampson, Miles Lashley, Jeremiah Howie, Glenn Foster. All right, we're coming up on our pick here. That's not what I wanted to do. That is not what I wanted to do. Let's get to our pick. Corey Van Dyke. Patrick Adkins, and now we can take the top 5 corner. Why does he have to be a top 5 corner? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm grabbing him, though. He's only normal development, but he is 94 speed, 92 agility, or 92 acceleration, 91 agility. He does look like a freak. He does look like, and he's 6'3". He's a good 4th corner. He's a really, really good 4th corner, and he's a true top 5 talent in the class. You can't pass that up. You cannot pass that up. Now, there's another corner that looks pretty good. Why does it have to be the corners? Oh, we're taking this dude. Austin Nowak. Absolutely. That could be our center instead of Drew Dahlman. Boom. Big pickup. Big pickup. Now we got, what, 3rd round picks? J.D. Lawrence is still here. Why is he still here? Is he bad? Elite jumping. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look good. For a 3rd round pick, he might not be a bad option. But I'm kind of in the market for a tackle or a guard or something. So maybe it's Michael Sutton. I could be in the market for him. I could also be in the market for this guy right here, Jason Davis. Looks a little bit better than the other guy. I think I can. Is there any D tackles that I want to grab? Elite acceleration, A finesse moves. Bob Moss is intriguing. I might come back to him because we have 2 3rd round picks, I think. So I might come back to one of these D tackles, but I think I want to grab that guard. I want to grab, unless Seth Clement is better. Is he better? He could be. No, he's not. No, Jason Davis is better. Only normal development, but Jason Davis is the better player than Clement, I think. Clement might end up having a development trade, but I do think that he's the better player. So let's get to round 3, pick 27. Luckily, we had 2 3rd round picks. If that J.D. Lawrence guy is there in the 4th round, I'll take him. Ah, those 2 D tackles did go off the board before. That's so stupid. I did not think they would. I thought for sure they'd still be there. That's very annoying. This corner, why is he still here? Tyrell Sherwood. He's got elite speed. He's got A block shed, A man coverage, B zone coverage. How is this man still on the board? What? How is this man still on the board? 95 speed, 94 change direction, 87 jumping. That man's still on the board in the 3rd round. He's a round 1 to 2 true talent, or a 1 to 2 projection. That's crazy. What a wild pick that is. We've got our 4th round pick. This is probably going to be the last pick that I make. And there he is. I'm going to take him. I need to know. Only normal development. 96 jumping at 6 foot. I didn't realize he was 6'5". I just needed to know. I don't think he's ever going to be anything for us, but I just, the curiosity was too much. He was still on the board. I needed to find out why he was on the board. At 6'5", he could be another big body receiver like Drake London or Michael Pittman, so maybe he ends up being something for us. I think it was another successful draft. Now, especially with the Kansas City playbook. Peterson's a 78 overall, 74 for Nowak. I think it's Nowak, but it could be something else. Jason Davis, 72. Sherwood's a 78. We got this dude in the 3rd round. Everybody passed on him. How did you pass on this guy? And then J.D. Lawrence ends up being a 74. They also took Rashard Smith, who's a 72. That's so crazy to me that they let that guy fall to us. So there was 2 82s in this class. Travis Lynch is disgusting. My God, he's good. And then Brian Archer ends up being an 82 overall as well. The rest of the class was not great. We got the 3rd best player, or 4th best player, I guess. And we also got Tyron Peterson also up here. So we did pretty well in terms of our corners. But this Travis Lynch dude is disgustingly good. That's one of the best free safeties, or just safeties in general, that I've seen come out of an auto-generated class. Maybe in the entirety of Madden 24. I'd obviously have to go back and look at all the videos, but that is a crazy player. And now it's year 3 of Michael Penix. He's got more weapons. He's got a good team, it looks like. Oh, Rashard Smith has development trade. Of course he does. He's in the Kansas City playbook. He should dominate this year. Our cornerback room just looks disgusting now. Our entire defense looks pretty good. I think we're going to win a bunch of games. I think we at least win as many as we did last year, which we won, 12, I think? Yeah, so I think we should win at least 12 this year again, hopefully, if everything goes our way. I will see you guys at the end of year number 3 with the results. We made it to the end of the season, and we have finished 12-5. So same exact record as we just finished last season with. And now we're playing the Carolina Panthers, who are 11-6. 3 teams out of the NFC South, NFC South, made the playoffs this year. That's pretty impressive. Let's take a look at the stats, though. How did Michael Penix do? He did great. Look at these numbers. 4,300 yards. He's finally starting to become the Michael Penix that I know can be. 33 touchdowns to just 10 picks, 73% completion percentage. These are his best numbers of his career. He's evolving. He may only be 20, he's probably 27 now. He may be 27 years old, but he's getting there. He's getting there. Oh my God, Bijan Robinson, 22 touchdowns. Are you serial right now? Are you Lucky Charms? That's crazy. With 1,200 yards. Still, no 1,000-yard receiver, even with the Kansas City playbook, but Kyle Pitts does have a resurgent season. Almost 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. Mooney played pretty well. Pittman played pretty well with 10 touchdowns. I mean, 4 guys get over 900 yards. That's a really good season. I'm happy with that. That's spreading the wealth. And then on defense, you got 134 yards for, tackles for Troy Anderson, 102 for Caden Ellis. I really hope that one of these two, if not both, get star development this offseason. That'd be really helpful. Braylon Trice has been killing it. 20 sacks for Braylon Trice. What in the world? Oh my, 20 sacks, Braylon Trice. Who is this man? 18 tackles for loss. If he gets Defensive Player of the Year, that would be unbelievable. 12 tackles for loss of Grady Jarrett. He obviously led the team with 20 sacks. Ebiketie had 8.5. Jarrett had 4. Oh my God. Dante Banks, big decision, or big trade piece. He got 3 interceptions. 20 sacks from Braylon Trice. Are you kidding me? Are you yanking my pickle right now? That's crazy. Playoff game against the Panthers. Please get a W. I can't lose to the Panthers. Thank God. Thank Giat that we beat the Panthers 28-14. That's a big victory. But this is where we got last season and got bumped. So can we do it this time? Can we actually get to the NFC title game this time? Please, Michael Penix. No! 24-21 loss. I can't even be here right now. Oh, another season lost. That could have been a good season. But we're consistently making the playoffs. We're consistently winning the division. And Michael Penix is finally starting to have consistent yards and touchdown numbers. So next year should be a good year. It should be another good year. Oh my God, Braylon Trice has 5 upgrades. He had to have won Defensive Player of the Year. That's just obvious. I don't know if I've ever seen 5 upgrades in a single time. That dog's going to be crazy. He had to have won Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, we'll simulate to the end of the season to find out. It's Chiefs and Commanders in the Super Bowl. That feels like a super old school one. And the Chiefs shut them out 17-0. Good God. We got to take a look at this freaking lineup, man. Please tell me that Michael Penix is star development. Please tell me that Braylon Trice is X Factor after that season. Michael Penix star development. That's all you need to do is just get him to be in the Chiefs playbook, and any quarterback will go up. And I do see this little cheeky little jabroni, Rashard Smith, the CPU drafted him. He's superstar development. Little jabroni down there. Offense is looking fantastic. And then on defense, Braylon Trice is a freaking X Factor. That's what I'm talking about. This dude's a stud now. And Richie Grant's now a superstar development player. Love to see that. I wish Von Favors would have went up, but that's okay. This dude's unbelievable. Braylon Trice, 24 years old, already an X Factor. He was normal development when we started this. Normal development. This dude's a beast. He's an absolute beast now. We're going to give him Fearmonger. We're going to give him probably... He should probably have Reach Elite for sure. Goal line stuff, I don't know if he needs goal line stuff that much. He should probably have Adrenaline Rush, and then maybe he should have Unpredictable, maybe? I don't even really know what these good ones are. Maybe No Outsiders, since he's on the edge. You don't really know what the good ones are until you get to the very end, like when he's a 99 or something. But this team looks unbelievably good now. I can't believe we didn't win at least go to the NFC title game this year. That's crazy. All right, season recap. So we have Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl and the MVP. Bryce Young actually got MVP of the league. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. Lamar Jackson is the Offensive Player of the Year. Joey Bosa is the Defensive Player of the Year, even though Braylon Trice got 5 upgrade points, so I have no idea what that's about. Brian Archer, wide receiver for the Titans, gets Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Vince Hewitt, linebacker for the Eagles, gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. Crazy season for Braylon Trice. That's huge, the fact that he's now a viable stud and one of the best players on our entire defense. That makes the defensive line look a lot better. It makes me not even have to draft a defensive edge rusher anymore because we still have Grady Jarrett. He's going to be good enough. I'm super excited about that. Accept the option on Bijan Robinson. We are going to accept the option on Deonte Banks. We are going to... Anybody else accept the option on? No. We do have some big decisions to make, though. Ooh, David Onyemata needs a new contract. And so does Grady Jarrett. Tommy Togiai? And Brandon Dorless needs a new upgrade or a new contract? Why does everybody need upgrades and try... we only have $20 million. What am I going to do here? Well, obviously, I got to get Kyle Pitts back. That's just obvious. We're not going to have a rebuild in the Falcons without Kyle Pitts, so he's coming back. But that leaves us with $3.5 million. So how do I make this work? I could probably trade Tyler Algier. It's not like we need to have a good backup running back, at least as good of a backup running back as Tyler Algier is. I mean, he's an 85 overall. We don't need that. They want to give me Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Saints do. I don't feel comfortable trading with a division team like that. What's a big position that we need? Middle linebacker is our biggest need. But we have Troy Anderson. He did go up to star. I didn't even notice that. And then Lorenzo Carter. We probably need an edge rusher more than anything because Lorenzo Carter probably can't hold on for too much longer. So let's go to outside linebacker and try to trade Tyler Algier for one of these. Baron Browning's a good option. JOK is a good option, but we don't have the cap room to take him. I like the Baron Browning suggestion. Jamin Davis is cool, but he'd probably be a little bit too difficult to get. Dre Greenlaw's too expensive. Bobby Okereke is too expensive. Byron Young's now superstar development, but he's on the last year of his deal. We can't take that on. That's too risky. He would be a good option, though. I think it's Baron Browning. He has 2 years on his contract. He's not super expensive on the cap hit. I think we try to make this deal. And they like it. They like it a lot. I can throw in some draft capital for 2028 because hopefully we're not going to be playing in 2028. So we'll throw in a third-round pick. You know what? I'll throw in a second-round pick. I'm feeling a little cheeky. I'll throw in a second-round pick, and trade offer is accepted. So Tyler Algier and a second-round pick go to the Denver Broncos. We bring back Baron Browning. That should help the defense a little bit more because now we got Troy Anderson who has a development trait, and then now Baron Browning comes in. Ebiketie we got to bring back on a contract. We need to make sure that Brandon Dorless is the #1 D tackle other than this guy. So that's probably how we have to make that work. But we need to restructure some more contracts so we can get back all the other guys because I'm not going to be trading everybody. So let's get back to restructuring. Whose contracts can we restructure? We can do Pittman's again, so we'll keep moving his money back. Lindstrom again. It's probably just the same guys that we did before. We can move AJ Terrell's money around. Kyle Pitts. Oh, that's crazy. No, I won't do it. I just gave him a new contract. I'm not going to move his money back. I'll do that next season if we have to. Darnell Mooney we can move back. Bijan I can move back even though he's on his rookie deal still. Richie Grant will move back. Okay, I think that's all the money that's going to matter. So how much does that free up? How much does that free up? That frees up $26 million. Ugh. Ooh. That's not a lot, is it? It's not a lot. $26 million. We got to get Ebiketie back. He's too crucial to this defense. He's coming back. That leaves us with $11 million. $11 million to bring back probably Grady Jarrett. No, that's dumb. We can't do that. Maybe Brandon Dorless is the guy. He's going to come back. That leaves us with $6 million. I can maybe get Troy Anderson back. Slightly. He's going to come back. Okay, that's everybody. That is everybody that I can offer. So we're really losing our defensive line depth, and we're losing Caleb McGarry. But we do have that that offensive tackle that we drafted a couple years ago. He can just fill in that spot anyway. So I don't think Grady Jarrett's going to have any trade value. I'll try, but I don't think he's going to have any trade value. Neither will Onyemata, I wouldn't think. But we'll see. Does he have any decent value? Not really. I should probably go for another defensive lineman. If I can trade Grady Jarrett for somebody that's viable. If Anyudike Uzama had more than 1 year left, I would try to go for him. What do I want to do here? Jermaine Johnson's up to an 89. That's crazy. Nick Hopkins is a 70-something. Terrence Bowen. Keon White. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. That would have been a good pickup. Tyree Wilson, same thing. But maybe they got their options. Maybe they got their 50-year options because they're in the same draft as Bijan, right? So they might have their options. I might try for a Tyree Wilson. Is this possible? It is, straight up, Tyree Wilson for Grady Jarrett. Maybe I should have tried to get a little bit more. I didn't think they'd value Grady Jarrett that much. So, yes, perfect. We can accept the option on Tyree Wilson. I played that pretty well. All right, I don't think McGarry's going to have any value. I don't think that Onyemata or Caden Ellis are going to have any value. So we're just going to let those guys go. We do fill in a position with Tyree Wilson. We'll see how he does alongside Braylon Trice. We obviously don't have any money anymore. But yeah, Price can go right into right tackle. That's perfect. He fits that absolutely brilliantly. And then on defense, we have Tyree Wilson. We don't really have a middle linebacker without Caden Ellis, so... we might need to switch to a 4-3? Maybe that's a little bit better. What's the scheme fit say? Offense, we don't really have a lot of scheme fits. They want us to switch to a 3-4 under. That's perfect. I'm fine with a 3-4 under. I know it still has the linebackers, but that gives us a little bit more scheme fit chemistry, so that's something. We'll have to find a linebacker in the draft, a middle linebacker. That'll be my big focus. So let's get to the draft. Let's get to that. I'm really banking on the fact that this next season is the end because I really think we're good enough. But who knows? I thought we were going to be a championship, NFC championship contender this year, and we got bumped out in the divisional round. So if we can win the #1 seed, we'll be in a much better spot, I think. We'll be in a much better spot. But there's some tough teams in the NFC. Tough teams. I mean, the Commanders just went to the Super Bowl this year. We'll see what happens. All right, mock draft number 5. I saw this guy when I was scouting, Blake Griffin. Great name, great name. There's another top 5 corner. Don't worry, I'm not going to go for another top 5 corner this time, even though there's 2. I'm going to go for a linebacker. I'm going to be smart about this. Our pick is at 28. Our pick is at 28. I don't know how good the linebacker... I really hope the linebacker class is decent. Private workouts. Let's get straight to middle linebacker. Let's not waste any time. So the best player is round 2 to 3. That worries me slightly. Tremont Blackstock. Good name. He looks decent. Who are these two guys down here? Damian Johnson out of Penn State. Penn State linebackers have a good history. And then USC linebacker Levi Cameron. Ooh, mommy. I like the elite speed. I'm going to do these top 3 guys right here. Those will be my scouts for the final private workout thing. And we will go to the draft. I'll check the mock draft one more time. Although I shouldn't because the top guy was only 2 to 3. So it's not that big of a deal. So I will check to see how good those guys actually are, though. Middle linebacker, how good are they? 90% on all of them. I really think that this Levi Cameron guy is going to be a stud. He's got the elite speed. Oh, he looks real good. He's going to be our replacement, most likely. We'll see what happens. I don't know who we're going to go with in the first round. I'm not going to take one of those guys in the first round. I don't know who we're going to take, though. Start drafting. Giants have the #1 overall pick, and I got something in my eye. They take Shaquem Wilkerson, right tackle, and then Blake Griffin goes. All right, let's just skip to my pick. I don't really care about anybody at the top. What's available? We could take best player available here. We're in a good situation. It probably would be smart to either take defensive line or offensive line. One of the lines would probably be the smartest. Maybe it's James Carter, a center. He looks decent. Definitely does look decent. What about Troy Wright? 6'6", decent athletic, and he looks good. Okay, Troy Wright could be a guy too. And then Jamie Woody. Woody what? He looks good, but not as good as the other two guys. And then a backup running back, Quentin Owens. I can't take a backup running back in the first round. That's kind of crazy. Max Giroux. Poor speed. I don't like that from my defensive lineman, but he does look pretty solid. But poor speed, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's either going to be Troy Wright or James Carter. Who do I think is better? Who do I think is better? James Carter's a good athlete, and he's a decent blocker. What about Troy Wright, though? Same kind of athlete. He's got more A's, though. I'm going to take Troy Wright. Hidden development. I'm happy with that. We needed more guard depth. So, boom, shaka, laka. We'll get to the second round now. And one of those linebackers should be on the table. So, the top guy, Blackstock or whatever, he got taken. But we can just pick from the top right here. We can grab whoever we want. We can grab Damian Johnson if I want to. Even though I don't think he's as good as Levi Cameron. I definitely think Levi Cameron's better. He's definitely more athletic. I think we'll wait till the third round to get Levi Cameron. Ricky Swift, Taylor's brother? I'm a sucker for elite speed on a linebacker. This time it paid off. 87 speed, 88 acceleration. I can't help it. He's Taylor Swift's brother. He's got elite speed. How can I pass that up? All right, now I got to hope that I didn't just make a crucial mistake and that middle linebacker's gone now. I made a crucial mistake. That's okay. That Swift guy, we'll just move him to middle linebacker. It'll be totally fine. It'll be totally fine. I don't even know where to go with this third round pick. I was going to go with that guy. Travis Springs. Springs. We'll take him. Hidden development, 85 speed, or 85 something strength, I think it was. All right, we'll just let the CPU handle the rest. How did I miss out on that? I did not think he'd go. He was round 3 to 4. I thought he'd stay. It was only pick 28. It's not like it was pick 32. Whatever. We'll just move the Swift, dude. We'll move him to middle linebacker. We'll be totally fine. 74 for Wright, 73 for Swift, 72 for Springs, and then the rest are kind of garbage. What does he do? He's 23 as well. Why did I draft so many old people? I didn't even see he was. All right, so let's move into middle linebacker. He's a 72. So he goes down 1 overall. That's not a big deal. He's still higher overall than the freaking dude we have there in the first place. So, ooh, this class was not that good. The 4 best players in the class were all corner. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. All right, we're totally fine. We're totally fine. We're champions. We're gonna be champions this year. I can tell it. I can smell it. It smells smelly. I got this. Michael Penix is delivering. He's good. The offensive line's good. Defensively, we add in Swift now to the middle linebacker spot. Oh, we're solid. We're a championship squad. We ain't got no problems. I will simulate to the end of the season. Hopefully, all of my predictions are correct. We're the 1 seed. We win the division, and we're chilling. We have made it to the end of the season, and Michael Penix delivers once again. 14 wins and the number 1 seed. My predictions were correct. Thank you, Extended Penix. 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Quarterback of the future. Don't mind if I do. That's a very good season. Bijan kills it once again, 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. Darnell Mooney is the guy that breaks out and has the 1,000-yard season. Okay, interesting. Kyle Pitts has 1,000 yards as well with 10 touchdowns. kind of wild. I thought it'd be one of these two guys, but whatever, as long as it's somebody. And then Troy Anderson, glad we signed him back, 129 tackles. Baron Browning comes in after the trade, 93 tackles, 80 for Richie Grant. Tackle for loss leader is a Braylon Trice, who just continues to be a stud for some reason. Zion Logue? I don't know how to say his name, but he got 14 tackles for loss, good for him. 16.5 sacks for Braylon Trice. He just continues to unbelievably dominate. Tyree Wilson comes in and has a good season with 8.5 sacks. Interception leader is AJ Terrell 3. Von Favors had 2. Von Favors kind of been a little bit of a bust. He's actually not, that's not true. He's been a little bit underwhelming considering the hype that I gave him when we drafted him. That's what I'll say. But now it's time for the divisional round. Can we finally move to the NFC title game? Yes, finally. This is the year. We're going up against the Commanders, who got to the Super Bowl last year and lost via shutout to the Chiefs. So maybe this time we can get the job done. They have Jalen Ramsey now for some reason. Okay, whatever. We're going to jump in and try to help Michael Penix get the job done. NFC Championship game, Falcons and Commanders. Jaden Daniels versus Michael Penix. Who's the better quarterback? Who's the better draft pick? We will find out today. 14-3 we lead. If we could build a nice lead, I'd love that. I would absolutely love that. We got a 21-3 lead. That's a nice lead. 28-3 lead. I love that. That's a good lead. 31-3. It's almost impossible for them to come back. They can't. They simply can't. Jaden Daniels might be the best player in the world. He might be Jesus himself. But is he from Nazareth? I don't know. 38-10. Come on, hold on for the victory. And the Atlanta Falcons, for the first time since the choke job in 2016, will go to the Super Bowl. Michael Penix Jr. has extended his Penix right through the heart of the Commanders. Super Bowl bound, but can we actually pull the trigger and win the Super Bowl? I hope so. I really, really do hope so. Let's get to that bowl. Hopefully it's not against Kansas City. Please don't be against Kansas City. It's against Houston and C.J. Stroud. Okay, big dog. I see you out here. 12-5. C.J. Stroud has gotten the boys to the Super Bowl. Will we be able to beat them? I certainly hope so. All right, Michael. I need you to play good in this Super Bowl. I need you to extend your Penix so far up the Houston Texans that they can't even stand the next day. That's how far you need to extend it. Right now, you're doing a good job. Defense is containing C.J. Stroud for now. We need to put as many points on the board as possible. This is a high-powered Texans team. And remember, we're like 4 years deeper than real life. So this is a good Texans team. 20-3, 27-3. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. We're doing exactly what I asked. We're extending our Penix right through them. 34-3. Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl champions. It's worked out for Atlanta. They drafted Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick in 2024, and only 4 years later, I think, right? 4 years later? Whatever it is, 3 or 4 years later, you get a championship. If you follow exactly what I did right here on this rebuild, the Atlanta Falcons will win a championship in the next 5 years. So, if you're watching this, Atlanta GMs, owners, Arthur Blank, if you're watching this, follow this to a T like a blueprint, and you will get yourself a Super Bowl. It's just the way things are. Michael Penix will hold you the championship. He will hold a Lombardi in his hands. Rock it like a baby. Oh, thank God we got the championship. Oh, man, I was a little bit concerned that we weren't going to beat the Texans. I was a little bit concerned. But we got the job done. We won a championship. Bringing in Baron Browning and Tyree Wilson, I feel like, was a difference maker. I feel like that really helped. Especially Baron Browning. And we held him to only 3 points. That's crazy. We get a bunch of upgrades. You love to see it. Who won the MVP of the Super Bowl? It was Bijan Robinson, as it should be. Dak wins MVP of the league. We get Coach of the Year. That's nice. Isaiah Pacheco and Montez Sweat are the offensive defensive players of the year. AJ McNeil and Glenn Madden are the rookies of the year. Let's take a look at this team. Let's recap it. Let's recap this squad. So we got ourselves this man right here, Michael Penix, who's now superstar development. He's an absolute stud. He's going to develop. You saw it here first. He's going to develop. He's an absolute stud. He's 27, but he is a beast. Making the trade for Michael Pittman early in the video at the very beginning when we traded for Kirk Cousins, or we traded away Kirk Cousins, that was a big move. Obviously, having Bijan was already amazing because he's just a stud. The offensive line I didn't have to do anything with except for I drafted Price, who replaced Caleb McGarry for the final season. So this entire offensive line was already built for me. Kyle Pitts was already here. This Falcons team's in a good spot. I added Swift, I added Browning, I added Tyree Wilson, and Von Favors. And Deonte Banks. That's really the only additions that I made in this entire team, and we won a Super Bowl, so I'm happy about that. And finally, Von Favors is now superstar development. I just feel like he's a little bit of a disappointment. He had so much hype given by me, maybe unfairly, from out of the draft. He just looked so good. He is now very good. He's a very good corner now. But out of the draft, he just looked like he was going to be unbelievable. And then to only have star development kind of soured me on him for a little bit. But he is a very good player, no doubt about it. Swift is also a very good player. I didn't even mention that Zion Logue guy, he got star development in the progression, so that's nice as well. This team's good. This team's a good team. This is a franchise-level, dynasty-level team for the next 10 years, I'd have to say. If you enjoyed the video, Atlanta fans especially, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. We only got 2 more rebuilds left to go with this post-draft era. We got the Broncos and Bo Nix, and the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy. So be ready for those. Be on the lookout for those. If you enjoyed this one, leave it a like. I know I said that already. Subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.